Do you believe in Medicare for all? Not like the plan that Bernie put. No, I think it would be the furthest like left healthcare plan in the world. But in terms of like, do I think public options would be good, or even a single payer system? Probably. I feel like every other system in the world, every other country seems to use these systems and they have decent results. Like whether multi-payer or a single payer or whatever, I don't know. I don't have strong opinions on what it should be. But Destiny, what about the cases where you're not conscious when the ambulance was called? Why pay for a decision you didn't make? My guess is if you were unconscious, you probably needed the ambulance. Destiny, I was a 911 dispatcher for a company for 2 to 3 years, and during COVID, if I run out of units, I have to ask for mutual aid from adjacent counties. It adds like 20 minutes to the response time. It just seems weird that you don't talk about the problems with underconsumption of healthcare. It just depends on when. Here's the reality. I want poor people to die in the United States. Clip me for Hassan's stream so you can go over this. If you're poor in the US and you get sick, you should die. Strengthen the gene pool. Boom. There you go. Okay. Yes, that is my take. Yeah, that is my perspective. Yes, you got me. Okay. Now that take is done, one of the reasons why certain types of public provided healthcare is valuable is because having people getting screened or checked for conditions ahead of time can actually lead to a reduction in the cost of healthcare. If you get tested, for instance, if you catch cancer earlier, then it's probably a lot cheaper than if you catch it at an advanced stage. Or if you get some sort of like preventative screening for some other condition or whatever, like when you catch conditions ahead of time, those things are cheaper. I don't think that's bad. I think it's good. And it's totally good. That's fine. Destiny crashes out and goes mask off. True. Overconsumption is bad, but insurance companies do deny claims in some cases because the appeals process can be complicated and difficult, and they know that some customers won't appeal a valid claim and it saves them money. I doubt that's the case. But I mean, I know I sound crazy, but like the idea that like you guys don't even know the people that work in these companies. Like the people who are in charge of appealing, or I'm sorry, of approving or denying this. I know people that work these jobs. You sit on your computer, okay? And if anybody, by the way, that actually works these jobs and wants to come in and talk about it, let me know. You sit at your computer and this is what happens. A thing comes in and it goes, oh, doctor is requesting this, okay? And then they have another screen and it says, here are our standards of care and here's what we provide. And then you look at this, you make sure there are no contraindications for the prescription or the treatment or whatever. And then as long as everything matches, then you click OK, approve, or you see there's a contraindication or there's some other thing that you suggest first, you go, oh, okay, deny. That's how it is. The CEO is not walking up and down the aisles and being like, oh, that motherfucker, deny them. We need to make more money on that. Or like, oh, today, guys, lottery day, if the person that you're approving or denying care for, if their name starts with the letter D, we deny today because D for denial, fuck them, making more money today. Or, guys, it's December, you want your Christmas bonuses? Highest denial server or highest denial worker gets a bonus, $40,000 on your paycheck. Like, this doesn't happen. The parts of these systems and the employees that work on them are so disconnected from the actual CEOs themselves. The idea that there's like some guy just like, oh, deny, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just not how these jobs work. Oh, Jesus. Do you think there's no companies where management doesn't have KPIs based on how many claims get denied? I don't even know. I seriously doubt that. And if it was, I'm pretty sure it would be illegal. And I'm not even sure if it would make sense. Like, my assumption would be, assuming I understand that ACA provision, you would probably want to approve more than deny, because then you could make more money on your administrative costs, because your administrative costs always have to be 20%, 80%. So if you're approving more medical coverage, then it probably allows you to charge more premiums to your customers, because otherwise you can't be having, if you deny too much and your administrative costs are too high, you'll fall out of the 20/80 rule, and then I think you get in trouble for that. So, but think what you want, okay? I don't care. Give me your best guess on where the 68,000 dead from preventable death relating to denial comes from. Shit's sus, and my best guess is it's a matter of time. I don't know. I'd have to see where the number comes from. I'm sure there are denials that shouldn't happen for one reason or another. Either the insurance company is misapplying their own policy, or a mistake happens in the insurance company, or a doctor writes something wrong or something. I'm sure that these happen. I'm not saying it's impossible for it to happen. I just don't think somebody's pushing the kill grandma button because the CEO wants to make an extra $10,000. I don't think that's happening ever. And I think it's a ridiculously absurd reductio of how any of these systems work. That like one day a guy's like, today? Most of these companies don't do manual approval / denial until an appeal is submitted. Oh, maybe. I had a friend who worked and she did appeals or denials based on what was being requested. She might have only done pharmaceutical stuff. I don't know if she did like surgeries, but I think it was just drugs. And she got the patient information would come in, and then it would show like the patient chart, like the history, what the doctor was trying to prescribe. And then it would show the, not that I ever saw any of these things ever, because this would be HIPAA violation. And then it would show like, well, here is what we recommend and here's what we cover. And then it just makes sure there's no like contraindications. You check for this, you scroll through, you read it, and then you just approve or deny based on what you get that comes in or whatever. Yeah. Destiny on full strawman mode. You're permaban. Bye. See you later. If you're only a level of engagement, it's just like strawman. Yeah, then you're gone. Bye. I don't even know why you would watch my stream. Little bro is really stupid on this one. Actually, this is the perfect example of a tone deaf devil. Listen, yes. If my take here triggers you, then please, I just want you to know. I genuinely want you to know, okay? All right? I hope one day that I get canceled, okay? I hope that one day I can't stream anymore, because if that happens to me, I will get a job working for one of these companies. I will take my whole list of subscribers and people that were watching my content, and I will cross-reference you with every single drug referral that I get, and I will deny every single one intentionally, okay? I will do that for all of you, just to know that I'm making you or your family suffer, okay? If you're watching me because you just agree with some of my takes, all right, and then you hardcore fucking disagree with this one, not for any rational reason, just because you emotionally disagree with this one, then don't watch my content. I don't like you, and I don't want you here, okay? Leave, because I will find, because the longer you stay here, the higher the chance is that I will get your first and last name, and I will deny all the drug coverage, I'll work for every insurance company in the world. I will deny every form of insurance. I will be the guy, okay? There will be a hurricane at your house, and I'm going to be the adjuster that shows up and be like, I think you damaged this fence yourself. Denial of coverage. Your grandma's going to say, I need chemotherapy. And I'm going to say, I think she got cancer from playing League of Legends. Denied. Okay. I'm going to deny all the coverage. So if the CEO isn't responsible, couldn't you then also argue that a president is not responsible for their army's actions? Isn't it about the system they built in the policy? No. When I say the CEO is not responsible, the CEO is responsible for the running of the company. What I'm saying is that the thing that you think is happening is not happening. The CEO is not running around denying individual claims because he hates you. If you had to create the most moral version of the healthcare system, what would you change? In my opinion, the most moral healthcare system is one where you identify a bare level of this is what every single person should have. So if this is no healthcare coverage, you identify a level that every single person should have this. You tax the population appropriately so that every single person has this. And then you have the ability to buy private insurance if people want to have like the extra, the nurses that jerk you off, or the hospital beds that are also water beds, or the hospital rooms that have, 4K TVs in them so you can watch streams together. This would be, in my opinion, like the most moral system is one where a base level of coverage is provided to every citizen that's funded by taxpayers. And then you have the option to buy private insurance or more if you want to get sloppy toppy when you go to get your fucking blood drawn or some shit. Who thinks the CEO is doing that? I think everyone's talking about their company policy control. But then why are people celebrating the fact that a CEO just got fucking murked in the street? Why do you feel about public options, or how do you feel about creating a price floor in the premiums and thus raising healthcare prices to a level matching the health liability of society? It makes federalized public option bad in the US because we're all fat and gay. What? I probably missed you going over this earlier, but was there like an explainable justification for the year-over-year increase for claim denials from UHC at such abnormal above average rates? I only saw one article talking about the increase in denials. This is the only thing that I'll warn you about. And I don't care. I don't care if you believe me or not, but for when you go on to other topics where you're less emotionally invested, anytime people are trying to prove an increase or a decrease in any economic measure, in any healthcare measure, in anything related to anything, if they're showing you numbers from like 2020 to 2024, they're probably lying to you. If you want to have the best opinion, it's probably best to have the exact opposite take from whatever that person is saying, because everybody knows that 2021, that the COVID years were an insane outlier for healthcare everything. So anybody that's trying to prove or disprove some claim and they're showing you a 4-year data set, you should probably think, wait a second. But didn't COVID represent like an insane outlier in like every outcome related to the economy, related to healthcare? Like, it's probably not going to be the best argument. What's the evidence that people in other countries are significantly overusing healthcare? They go to doctors more frequently, but not by a ton. Only works if you assume the US doesn't underuse. I don't think there's evidence in other countries that people significantly overuse their healthcare. But usually in other countries, I think there are like copays or there are costs associated with a lot of the things that they do. Like, people don't understand that Bernie's plan for healthcare was the most extreme plan that would have existed on the face of the earth. But for some reason, progressives convinced themselves that it's normal, that every country in Europe has banned all private insurance, has made it so there's zero copay for all drugs, that there's zero copay for every hospital visit, and that dental and vision are included in the socialized healthcare plan. There is not a single other healthcare plan in the world that is like this. Nobody, but Americans think this. Americans think, oh yeah, well, if you're in Europe, vision and dental are covered. You pay absolutely nothing for all of your drugs. There's no copay for anything. There's no deduction for anything. That's just not true. No healthcare coverage in the planet works like that. But Americans think that's like normal. Do you think that at the least we shouldn't have publicly traded companies that are legally obligated to maximize profits, managing something as vital as healthcare? Is there not a conflict of interest? If you don't want to maximize profits, then the next question is, well, then what should they maximize? What's the decision there? Public health? Healthy people? What does that even mean? Maximize life? Hold on. Like, you're the dipshit that just said earlier in chat that I was being bad fit. Hold on. You didn't even prove your... I'm just reading a message from Sam. You didn't even prove your point, LOL. You're being so weird right now. Maximize life? What does that mean? So if you go to the hospital and you're sick with anything, should they just like fucking knock you out and put you in a coma and then stick you in a machine for the rest of your life to maximize how many years you're alive? Like, what? Should they maximize patient outcome? What does that mean? You don't even know what you're asking for. You don't even know what you're trying to maximize. Do you want accessibility so the most amount of people can go to the hospital? Do you want to maximize for wait time? So if you schedule an appointment, it's guaranteed to be within a month. Do you want to maximize access to the latest drugs and best medical treatments? Do you want to maximize like inpatient care? Do you want to there's a million different things that you can optimize for. Currently, Destiny's being obtuse. Nope, you're obtuse because now you're banned. And now that you're banned from my stream, you're going to be depressed. You're going to eat too much ice cream. You're going to get fat. And you're going to be literally obtuse. Destiny, stop playing dumb. Okay, never mind. My bad. Okay, moving on, because this topic is a brain rot topic. You should maximize for everything. True.
We are living at such an exciting time. Everything is changing, and strange times create strange bedfellows. More and more, I find myself sitting down and having actual conversations with people who even just 5 years ago would have never thought to talk.
Patient outcome is very easily tracked. You can't increase every single patient outcome. There are trade-offs. You can't increase everything. Why is the screen small? I don't know. You have to make compromises in areas. You can't have everything. This is Americans' problems. You guys think you can have everything, and you can't.
Talk to me or me talk to them in a million years.
What would it take to change your mind on this? You seem to be a lone voice in the wilderness on this. Just to be clear, the majority of economists and healthcare professionals agree with me. So that's not true. I'm not a lone voice on this. The only thing that it would take to change my mind is just some point of data or something where somebody's making a coherent argument that's not just a soy fucking laden argument from a bunch of middle-class white people who don't even consume healthcare saying everybody should have every single fucking thing for free all the time, always like Bernie Sanders. That's all it would take. Just one thing.
But things have changed in a good way, and people on the right, people on the left, and the people somewhere in between or nowhere at all are starting to agree.
Max, that's how many times you sleep with Chat's mom. True!
Hey, we have problems, and we have to stop this political division before it destroys us completely. Christmas is coming up, and you'll probably be getting together here soon with a family member who voted differently than you. Can you bring that back together? That old friend that you had? Can they believe that you're not a fascist or a communist? How do we maintain the vision of e pluribus unum? How can we come back together? I think we can. To test my theory, I am joined today by...
Oh my God, I'm going to kill myself. Please don't make me do this. Please don't make me. Somebody links me something in DMs and like, you could expand your perspective on healthcare. So of course it's an Instagram story. And I'm just looking at the title of this Instagram story. Oh my God. Why are so many doctors being forced to take out payday loans to meet ends meet? Really? Really? Do you have any critique against Obamacare? It depends on what you think the purpose of Obamacare was. I think the purpose for the ACA, what it boiled down to, or what it was distilled down to at the end, basically, because it was stripped of the public option, was to cover more people, which it did. So in that regard, it was a success. It sucks that Donald Trump took the mandate away. So now the cost for insurance at the exchanges is more expensive because some people pulled out of the market that were healthy people otherwise that would have subsidized costs for others. But You see this with programs like California's Medicaid systems that extends coverage to illegal aliens with the assumption that if they are covered, more people will see their PCPs instead of ER as their primary. Okay.
Weeks ago, producer Alec Opperman reached out to me with a surprising fact. Doctors are taking out payday loans. That kind of blew my mind. Doctors, as far as I know, make a ton of money.
What do you mean he did it for the money? He's a doctor. He's already rich.
So Alec did some digging, and he uncovered this new brazen strategy in healthcare. It's responsible not only for those scummy loans, but also denying patients, like you and the people you love, the vital care that they need. And it goes far beyond just our all...
Just to be clear, care will always be rationed. Just so you know, medical care is a scarce resource and there will always be some kind of rationing. Anybody that tells you different is a liar, okay? Just to be clear on that, all right?
already broken system. So, who's the shadowy supervillain behind this plot to rip off both doctors and patients? It's America's largest insurer. This is The Classroom for More Perfect Union, and today we're looking at the massive power of United Healthcare. Before we get into United Healthcare's new strategy to shortchange doctors and patients alike, we need to talk about how they became America's largest insurer. United was founded in Minneapolis in 1977 and pioneered a new kind of insurance, treating people within closed networks of providers, health maintenance organizations, or HMOs. HMOs were pitched as a way to curb America's exploding healthcare costs, which did not happen.
Remember what I said, like, if somebody's trying to reduce a cost, I just don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this. If you have a trajectory like this and you do a plan and this happens, people will view it as a failure. If your goal was to reduce costs and you implement a solution here, people will say that you failed. But that's not true if your trajectory was here. So if somebody says you implemented something to reduce cost and somebody's like, but costs still went up. Okay, but the cost went up less quickly than it would have otherwise, right? But whatever, okay. Also, I like how what he's linking here is just that we still spend a lot on healthcare. It doesn't even, but okay.
HMOs proliferated after 1973 as a result of the Health Maintenance Organization Act, which gave federal grants and mandated employers offer an HMO option to their employees. The law suddenly made HMOs very popular and very profitable. Alec told me about an old non-profit HMO, Physicians Health Plan.
It's a network of doctors in a health maintenance organization in Minneapolis.
Tim Pool agrees with you on this, Destiny. Just to be clear, whether or not Tim Pool agrees with somebody is not necessarily a good indicator of whether or not the opinion is right or wrong, because Tim Pool might accidentally be correct on retarded shit. Having said that, Tim Pool definitely agrees with you, not me. Just like, so I don't even know why you would say that. I guarantee you that if we open Tim Pool's shit, he's going to be saying, yeah, the greedy health insurance companies are the ones that are robbing me, blah, blah, blah. Just to be clear, Tim Pool is agreeing with you, not me. That doesn't take away from your point, though, by the way. I wouldn't say that because a lot of people will retardedly agree or disagree on some particular thing, but...
Minneapolis, and they had hired United Healthcare to manage the HMO. Physicians Health Plan is a nonprofit, but United Healthcare is very much for profit.
Were the doctors happy? Was this a good system for them?
No, they were so unhappy that there was national news coverage that they were threatening to unionize. They were mad that they were being underpaid by United Healthcare, saying it was barely enough to cover their overhead. They were also alleging a conflict of interest with the chair of...
Do individual doctors working at hospitals have overhead, or their overhead? Like, does an individual doctor pay for like malpractice insurance, or is that like provided for and taken out of your wages automatically as a hospital? Do you know? I'm sure like if you work at a clinic or like if you have an individual practice, I'm sure that you have like private practice stuff will pay for malpractice, I'm sure. But if you work at a hospital, wait, hold on. I have friends that are doctors. I should just be asking them this. I don't know what the fuck I'm asking. Wait.
the nonprofit Physicians Health Plan, who was Richard Burke.
I think most people see insurance/big pharma CEOs as different variations of Martin Shkreli. I'm guessing you disagree that most of these CEOs are Martin Shkreli's levels of unethical or evil. Don't even get me. Martin Shkreli was unethical and evil because of the stupid fucking shit that he did with looting some of his companies to pay off people that he ran on an unprofitable hedge fund. I don't know if the decisions that he made related to healthcare stuff were necessarily unethical or illegal, assuming he was operating within the bounds of the law, but...
And who ran the for-profit United Healthcare?
Also Richard Burke. So this man who was running a nonprofit had hired his for-profit company to manage this nonprofit tax-exempt organization.
When you first mentioned Richard Burke to me, I tried looking him up online, and there's really not that much. I tried a video search, and I only found this one video.
The whiteboard video?
The whiteboard video. This guy with a whiteboard that's literally about how it's so hard to find information about this guy online.
He's only mentioned once in United Health Group's own history. He's been thoroughly involved since the beginning, and he's thoroughly involved now.
I know you laugh it off, but most doctors in America got $250,000 in debt to get an education, work 3 to 7 years in residency making minimum wage if you account for hours worked, and then make a decent salary. The idea that all doctors are financially healthy and doing well isn't accurate. Attendings, sure, but not residents. I can't with you guys. I just can't. I can't with you guys. What a hard life it is. Can somebody think of the doctors, please? Can somebody please think of the doctors?
Now, there are very few to no articles about this person. Can you find articles about the founders of all these companies? Gobs and gobs and gobs of them, but not Richard T. Burke. Organizations are not nameless and faceless. I mean, they are groups of people, and people are responsible for decisions that cause these organizations to be the way they are.
Do you think that rich people should be able to completely opt out of a federal Medicare tax if they choose a private option, even if their demand is gone? Should they still pay in? I don't think you can opt out of Medicare when you're older, right? Doesn't everybody get it? I don't think you can opt out of Medicare when you're older.
Much of United's initial growth was enabled by the HMO Act and the $300 million in grants from the government. Burke and United started snapping up all of these federally subsidized insurers, essentially stealing entire taxpayer-funded organizations. And
Stealing? Wait, what do you mean stealing?
it makes a lot of sense that the bill was so helpful to United Healthcare. It was written by a think tank, Interstudy.
Interstudy was founded by Paul Elwood Jr. He's this guy who's called the father
I'm pretty sure most legislation is written by a think tank at the start, at least, of it, because these are the guys that do all this bullshit. But
of the HMO. But I also found another important figure at Interstudy, one of the directors.
who is this guy again? Is this like a guy that even does or knows anything, or is he just like a guy who Googles or whatever?
Was none other than Richard Burke.
United grew from a regional group of HMOs to a national insurer with a breadth of plans. Like other insurers, they claimed their growth would be helpful to the average American. The bigger they got, they said, the better they could negotiate with healthcare providers and
pass the savings on to you.
which did not happen.
Well, but keep in mind, we just saw an instance where healthcare tried to negotiate, where insurance tried to negotiate something, not this one, over the anesthesia stuff, and the doctors won. And for some reason, we think, I understand it too, because you moralize doctors and you think that doctors are on your side. They're not. And that's not even bad, by the way. I'm not saying that doctors are evil, but doctors are not on your side. The goal of a doctor, again, it's the fundamental tension between labor and capital. The goal of a doctor is to get paid, is the exact same thing as the goal of a McDonald's worker. You want to get paid as much as possible for doing the least amount of work possible. And the goal of an employer is to get as much work out of you as possible while paying you the least amount possible. It's the fundamental tension between labor and owner, always. So a doctor is not on your side. A doctor is not on a patient's side when it comes to negotiations over things like pay. And if you think that, you're a dumb fuck. You're an idiot, because you pay them for services. There's nothing preventing a group of doctors from going out and starting a clinic where they just treat people for ultra low cost. Nothing's stopping them from doing that.
A wave of mergers and acquisitions in the insurance industry in the 90s wiped out the patchwork of regional nonprofit insurers that had already existed. Companies like Anthem went on a shopping spree for these nonprofits and added
This source, More Perfect Union, also played a big role in spreading the anesthesiologist's talking points about the insurance attempt to cap costs. Nice.
them to their for-profit empire. At the same time, United continued to consolidate and spent billions acquiring other for-profit insurers. Despite their promises, healthcare costs continued to increase. But they were getting more efficient in one crucial way: rationing your health. For years, only a small portion of claims got denied. It just wasn't cost-effective to have a human review every request for care. But today, nearly 1 in 5 claims are denied. In 2021, that added up to nearly 50 million. 50 million instances of Americans being told, no, we won't pay for that thing you need to live a healthy life.
Like, why are we assuming this? I don't understand why your brain shut off In every single, like in any other circumstance, you would evaluate for whether or not like a claim is good or not. Like that's just, it's so standard in every other area of life. Like when I can give personal experience. When I worked for carpet cleaning, the best jobs were insurance jobs. If you had a water damage basement, okay, and we go downstairs, we look at the basement and we go, okay, well, what do you need? Probably have to pull the carpet, probably have to toss it, definitely have to toss the padding, maybe need to fuck with the subflooring, I don't know, probably have to toss all the tack strips, and then need to do moisture checks behind the walls. We might have to remove baseboards, almost for sure have to remove baseboards, maybe cut away a little bit of drywall, okay? And we'll charge you the least amount possible. Maybe you need 2 fans, and if you don't have a window that you can crack open, maybe a dehumidifier. We charge you daily for those, okay? If it's an insurance job, we might do a water, back in the day, I don't know how much we got. I'm pretty sure back in the day, I think we could do a full water damage job for less than $2,000. I think it was possible in a small basement. If it's an insurance job, woo, 2 feet of drywall at least are getting cut. We're going to replace all of your insulation. Carpet, all of that obviously is gone. You're going to get a full subfloor cleaning and sealing, and we're going to tell you that it's necessary to prevent bacterial growth. There's going to be 8 fucking fans down here, right? We're going to have like at least 2 dehus per room running, okay? Like it's an insurance job. Like you're going to charge way the fuck more, right? This is true for car shit. Like if I would go, because especially being a brokey fuck, if I would take my car to a garage, they're going to ask you, do you have insurance or not? If you don't have insurance, the way that they're going to bill you and the way that they're going to charge you for shit is going to be way different than if it's an insurance job. Those are the only 2 dishes I have firsthand experience with. But like, I'm pretty sure at every single other world, this is how people approach insurance. If it's going to be an insurance job, you're going to bill the max you fucking can for it. And some shit might get denied. Destiny, in my experience, anecdotal, grain of salt, yada, yada, doctors are usually on the patient side for this reason. They get paid either way, and insurance is more likely to pay out well. Sure, you want to get paid the most from the insurance. Sure. My friend owns the garage in town that you go to specifically to get a high quote for insurance with car collision.
Think about it. You pay a premium every month.
If the insurance company was actually able to pay anesthesiologists less, do you think that they would take the excess profit or reduce costs for patients receiving the anesthesia? I think the framing of that Vox article makes it seem like the patients would have been able to pay less, when it might be more than likely that insurance companies were trying to profit more from the procedures by charging patients the same amount and paying doctors less. Well, the idea would be, especially due to the ACA, you have to keep administrative and healthcare costs within a 20/80 rule, that if you're compensating doctors less, then necessarily premiums would be less. If you have to pay the doctors more, well, then you can charge more on premiums because it has to be within that ratio at the most. So
to United Health and other insurers for health insurance, and they mostly focus on making sure that they won't have to foot the bill. You can appeal denials, but insurers do everything in their power to make that super difficult. Only 1 in 500 cases are appealed. There are 500 sheets in a ream of paper, and those fail 59% of the time, leaving this little sliver of paper as the lucky ones that got through compared to all of this. These are worth billions of dollars for.
Yeah, but you need more information but I understand why. It's because it's healthcare, so people get emotional. People are just assuming that every single one of these appeals or every single denial was like a legitimate like cancer life-saving drug, and then it was just denied for evil or improper reasons. But that's not necessarily true. This is hardcore cognitive dissonance cope, says the 50th YouTube chatter who's linked nothing and given nothing to contradict anything I'm saying, by the way. If health insurance is so good, then why the hell does Destiny refuse to use it? Because I'm not a consumer of healthcare. I don't need to. So when you get rid of the mandate, people like me don't buy it. And then it fucks over people that do need it. I don't know what's so hard to understand about that.
Insurers. So what the hell is going on here? Let me explain. As these companies grew and got some of that sweet, sweet economy of scale, having entire departments of people to look at claims and deny them became way cheaper.
I found an older newspaper article where a real person's job title was simply denial nurse.
Denial nurse.
Denial nurse.
It isn't just nurses poring over claims looking for excuses to deny them. Tech plays a role too. Dr. Alan Mooney, an executive at United, pioneered a system that allowed for bulk claim denials at rapid speed. United's aggressive denial or underpayment of claims has made them the target of tons of lawsuits.
They're losing a bunch of...
I guess a denial is, how do we find out which denials are bad versus okay? I mean, like, ideally, you'd have a watchdog group where you'd have somebody that would come in and say, okay, well, you denied 1 million claims. We're going to grab 1,000 of these out of this stack, and we're going to go through and see how many of these denials we felt were legitimate versus illegitimate. And there's going to be some error rate that you would accept. I don't know what that error rate would be, 1 to 5% or something. Like, that's probably, that's what you would do to assess whether or not, you wouldn't just assume that all the denials are improper. You would go through a random selection of them and check. Surely somebody has done that. Denial nurses literally work on the side of the patient, ensuring the paperwork is filled out correctly for insurance. This isn't even accurate propaganda. Denial nurse. As a denial nurse, you will play a crucial role in the healthcare revenue cycle management process by reviewing and appealing denied insurance claims. If you have a strong background in nursing and a passion for ensuring fair reimbursement for healthcare services, we would love to hear. Nice, okay.
Cases, they were sued by 2 healthcare groups, Team Healthcare and Envision. The things that they were alleging in these suits that they won was gross underpayment and mass denial of claims, right? So in the case of Envision, they were rejecting nearly half of all the doctor's claims for medical care.
Huge hospitals have very expensive, well-staffed billing departments to chase down insurers for money, but most small practices don't have that luxury. But denying claims is just the start of United's plan.
Hold on, I'm so curious. Does a doctor at a private practice tend to make more, or a doctor in a hospital? Doctor compensation, private practice versus hospital. Private practices continue to offer the highest salaries, with physicians witnessing an 8.4% median salary increase. In contrast, hospitals present a mixed picture. So then what? So I like how they're presenting like private practice, like the poor little guys here who are like, what is this? You're right. I work in a claims department at employment department, and we approve / deny claimants based on their earnings in a year / employer separation. We use law and rule. We don't approve / deny for personal / evil reasons. Destiny, I could be wrong, but why should certain things not be covered under insurance? I don't know, and I'm not sure. I don't know enough about the ins and outs of the healthcare system now, but I can imagine that like either your insurance doesn't cover it. So like maybe you choose a high deductible plan that doesn't cover like physical therapy, and you go, you have an emergency, you go to the hospital, and then they recommend 6 weeks of physical therapy afterwards, and the doctors try to submit it to your insurance, and the insurance doesn't cover it, right? That might be a time where you get denied because you just don't have that coverage. Maybe there's maybe it's like out of network shit. I don't know. Health insurance and all that shit is fucking complicated as fuck. But I'm sure there are other reasons. I don't know what the reasons are, but
Had their profits at the expense of the patient. Which brings us back to the payday loans.
While I was reporting this piece,
there isn't any way 30% of claims should be denied. That's a company trying to find any excuse not to do their job. First of all, how do you even know what percentage of claims are even denied? Did they say in here 1/5, wasn't it? Was it 1/5 of claims were denied, or was it 1/5 of appeals were denied, or 1/5 of...
I reached out to one doctor who was publicly complaining about the payday loans from United. So the doctor emailed me this report, and the number in there that they pointed me to was that 41% of healthcare providers needed to take out external funds to stay afloat. So like,
Wait, I hate these dog shit videos that I can't rewind on. Is there like a YouTube video equivalent of this? Most common I don't know what this is even from, so I'll take this as the good news. Most common reasons medical claims are denied. Prior authorization. I don't know what that means. So something was already approved, or it was already denied. Doctor was not covered by plan. Billing code issues. Claim was not submitted before deadline. Patient information not accurate. Claim had missing or inaccurate information. Not enough staff to keep up. Plan changed what drugs were covered. Insurance policies changed. Insurance procedures changed. Medical services not grouped correctly. Medical services not covered. Okay, thank you.
A few weeks ago, producer Alec Opperman reached out to me with a surprising fact. Doctors are taking out payday loans
they were
from the government. Burke and United
was none other
promises healthcare costs.
Where were we at? Hold on.
like loan, stimulus, etc.
Some drugs require a PA, a prior authorization, depending on a lot of things. Like, for example, a claim could get denied, but a PA could make it pay regardless. So this is a bit not accurate. We send out separate statements to the claimant and employer, allowing both to tell their side of the story, and then the separation case gets sent to an adjudicator to determine claimant's eligibility. Okay, this is the chart that everybody was sewing out about. Okay, oh, look at this. Hold on, what is this?
So the doctor emailed me this report, and the number in there that they pointed me to was that 41% of healthcare providers needed to take out external funds to stay afloat. So the doctor emailed me,
The patient.
For what year was this?
Which brings us back to the payday loans.
While I was reporting this piece, I reached out to one doctor who was publicly complaining about the payday loans from United. So the doctor emailed me this report, and the number in there that they pointed
2022?
payday loans from
Hold on.
United. So the doctor emailed me this report, and the
Trends in healthcare payments annual report 2022.
number in there that they pointed me to was
41% of providers relied on external funding to remain open. Does that include PPP loans?
United. So the
Hold on.
doctor emailed me this report, and the
Trends in healthcare payments. Trends in healthcare payments. Annual report 2022. Oh, just give me the thing. No, give me the 2022 one. First search result was an actual PDF. Wait, what? This is an actual PDF? Oh, this is a PDF. Is this this is not. 2022 report is below. Wait, this? Can you admit that the healthcare industry is plagued with greed? Or is it the company's duty to seek profits at every opportunity possible with a potential disregard to people's well-being? Well, considering they're healthcare companies and they're in the business generally providing people with well-being, I would imagine that would generally be where their profit incentive would align. The goal of any company is to make money. That is the goal of every single company in the United States of America. All of them. Okay, hold on. If you guys are seeing this so obviously on my search result, because I would just link the PDF. Where's the PDF that I'm looking for? Trends in healthcare payments 2022. Trends in healthcare payments. Maybe they link the source at the bottom of the YouTube video. Oh, nope. Well, I would like to read this PDF because I'm curious if that number includes PPP loans. Oh my God, somebody has a web archive version of it. Good job. BQQ69. What a fucking based chatter. Good for you. Okay, trends in healthcare payments. 13th annual report.
the number in there that they pointed me to was that 41% of healthcare providers needed to take out external funds.
Okay, page 6. 41% of providers relied on external funding to remain open. Page 6. Healthcare providers have been at the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic. For the better part of 3 years, providers have been stretched beyond their limits. From variant surges to enforcing mandates, providers have had to endure more than ever thought possible. It's no wonder that so many in healthcare are burned out. In addition to the mental toll on the individuals, provider organizations face considerable financial struggles. Many provider organizations reported operating with negative margins and needing external funding to remain in business. Surges in COVID-19 variant outbreaks added to the losses suffered by provider organizations. And then the okay, so this has to do with literally COVID. Remember what I said earlier when I said anybody that's citing you 2020 to 2024, be very careful about like what they're trying to say. So this is, the source is footnote 4 or, end notes. Really? Hold on. Oh, healthcare payments survey. Reference. Fuck me. Okay, I'm not gonna find this. Whatever. Okay. But anyway, all right.
To stay afloat, so like loans, stimulus, etc.
This is why doctors and practices end up needing to take out those predatory payday loans.
I want you to know how much I hate all of you. Okay. I was linked this video, okay, because I needed to expand my horizon on this because apparently I'm out of touch or whatever. This is just dishonest report. This is just a fucking lie, right? We're going to talk about needing a PPP loan to keep your private practice afloat during COVID, which was one of the most stressing time periods probably for all of healthcare history. And we're going to equate that to a personal doctor taking out a payday loan?
Care providers needed to take out external funds to stay afloat, so like loans, stimulus, etc.
This is why doctors and practices end up needing to take out those predatory payday loans. Appealing a denied claim can take months or years, so companies will front providers that money as they hope for insurer payouts. So United Healthcare's constant denial
Was that even the reason why they were taking out those loans? Like, do we even have, like...
can be very, very profitable for a payday loan lender, which really works out for United because, of course, they own one, Optum. Optum not only speeds up claim processing to United and other insurers, they offer something called Optum Pay Advance. They must have known that sounds terrible because they've since rebranded that service to the more sterile Capital Loan.
If you are a wealthy person, you have access to certain types of loans based on the amount of money that you make. This is true. Working capital is the common name for them. PayPal will offer you them. If you have a lot of money flowing through a PayPal account, I've been offered by PayPal, by Wells Fargo, they will offer you these working capital loans. to call this loan a payday loan should get you permaban from ever giving commentary ever in your entire life. The rates, the APRs, the APYs that are available on these capital loans can make sense. Like, you want to take out a capital loan because you finance these, that it makes sense to like help your business either stay afloat or you can capitalize a project. To compare this to the same type of payday loan a guy at a gas station might get is fucking insanity. It is fucking crazy that you would ever make this comparison. What an insanely stupid and dishonest comparison to make.
Capital loans aren't enough for small practices. There are plenty of companies in the market to buy struggling healthcare providers outright, like Blackstone and CVS. But most importantly, United Healthcare. Now,
So you have no issue with healthcare companies prioritizing profits over the care of individuals. I don't know, bro. Just a reminder, I'm a capitalist. If you're a socialist or communist, you're never going to like my content, and you shouldn't. And if you ever hear me say something and you agree with it, I'm not agreeing with you for the reasons you think I'm agreeing with you. And you should never watch my content. You shouldn't consume my content, and you should hate me.
Blackstone and CVS. But most importantly, United Healthcare. Now the largest employer of physicians in America. 70,000 of them. United's strategy is called vertical integration.
Wait, are these guys a healthcare provider as well, or do they just do insurance? Do they employ the doctors directly, or do they just...
It's part of an ongoing process that gets...
He doesn't know what working capital is, so he's just calling it a capital loan. Yeah, he doesn't know what any of these things... He probably has no experience in any of this. No business experience, no financial experience, no tax understanding. He just knows nothing. It's just you find figures, they look shocking, and then you just report on them.
United Healthcare a cut of every single step of the healthcare process. Say you're uninsured. You injure your knee and go to an online pharmacy for some Advil. While you're shopping around, you see an ad for a doctor specializing in knee pain. A few clicks later, you're scheduled for a knee replacement. The surgery is obviously pretty expensive, so the doctor refers you to a service offering loans to people like you. Faced with thousands of dollars in medical debt, you start considering a health insurance policy. In CEO Andrew Whitty's vision, every part of this process, the pharmacy, the doctor, the loan provider, the insurance, are all run by the same company. His.
There are very few companies in America that have a relationship with 100 million Americans, and none that have a relationship as intimate as healthcare.
Already, United Healthcare members might be told they're required to purchase specific drugs from a hand-selected pharmacy.
Welcome to Optum Rx.
Optum. Sound familiar?
Working every day to take care of your pharmacy needs and make sure that you get the most out of your new benefits.
While insurers say their big happy healthcare family will save you money, it's more like a personal health dictator. A dictator who has a legal responsibility to make as much money as possible. And they're doing a really good job. In 2010, United
He's going to say revenue.
worth around $35 billion. Today, it's worth more than $450 billion. When insurers aren't using...
What about the profit? I'm sorry, wait, what? We're just going by market cap now to see how profitable the company is? What does this have to do with...
Today, it's worth more than $450 billion. When insurers aren't using their savings to invest in vertical integration, they're using it to enrich their shareholders. In 2022, for instance, 7 major insurers, including United Healthcare, generated nearly $70 billion in profit and proceeded to spend...
What is from how much investment? It's okay. It's all good.
Spend $26 billion of that in stock buybacks.
That's in case you didn't know, a stock buyback is when you sacrifice children to Satan himself in the most violent, torturous way possible. Go watch the movie Martyrs for an example of what stock buybacks are. It's a foreign film.
And of course, the executives, the characters you've met so far, are winning too. Richard Burke retired from the United board in 2022 with an estimated net worth of $500 million. And while United executives like to speak of firewalls between their business branches to ward off conflicts of interest, they have been busted for using their subsidiaries to manipulate the market.
New York's Attorney General charged United Health Group with using a research firm the company itself owns to manipulate reimbursement rates.
That firm was called Ingenix, which you might have guessed.
So the military-industrial complex doesn't make that much money. Pharma doesn't make that much money. So what makes money for America? You know what we make money in, Fishbalm, funnily enough, is fucking tech. And guess which side had the most billionaires backing the candidate who now has tech bros padding out his administration? Isn't it crazy that Doge and all these weird... They're not founded by billionaire owners of Lockheed or Boeing or Pfizer, But instead they're like Silicon Valley tech. Crazy how that works, huh?
shut down. Nope. They just rebranded as
Also, this level of vertical integration is gross, but I think all vertical integration is bad and stupid. I don't know why we don't do anything about this in America, but
Optum Insight. Today, Envision alleges that United uses its negotiating power to lower reimbursements for practices or to kick them out of network, putting them in the kind of financial distress that would allow Optum to swoop in and acquire them. The Department of Justice tried to stop United's acquisition of Change, Optum's competitor that facilitates the exchange of claims information.
why is it gross? I don't like businesses buying other businesses. That's my radical antitrust take. I don't think any business should be able to buy any business in the U.S. Be separate companies and work separately, motherfuckers. I just think it's weird to buy up and down or horizontally, all buying out your competition or buying out vertical distribution things. I think it's cringe. I think it's cringe.
Between providers and insurers, but in spite of United's history with Ingenix, the judge took CEO Andrew Whitty's word.
Why though? I think it's anti-competitive. I think it's strange when the same I think we would live in a better world if multiple people could compete on creating operating systems for an iPhone, or if multiple people could compete on creating email providers or browsers or whatever. I think that the issue is that anytime a product is available, if there's a huge level of vertical integration available from a market mover or like a huge market player in a vertical area, then they automatically defeat every other person that could come in and do something differently. I don't like that. I think that's bad. I think that sucks. Right? Who can make browsers the best? Is it really the case that the guy who also owns all the advertising and owns all the Android phones is also like the best browser maker? Or is it just because they have so much vertical power and vertical integrating power that they can basically just bully out anybody else? I don't know. I think it's shitty, but you know.
But in spite of United's history with Ingenix, the judge took CEO Andrew Whitty's word that sharing of competitor info would be against, quote, everything we stand for in the organization. With this merger, United will have access to a trove of data on what other insurers are paying and what they've negotiated with doctors and hospitals. This could allow them to unfairly undermine the competition, further cementing their healthcare monopoly.
It's also worth mentioning that before he was the CEO of United Healthcare, Andrew Whitty was the CEO of the drug maker GlaxoSmithKline.
While Whitty was in charge, GlaxoSmithKline paid $3 billion for fraud, including but not limited to bribing doctors and, quote, encouraging the prescription of unsuitable antidepressants to children.
It's an organization with a great ethos, a belief in doing things with integrity, a belief in putting the patient at the heart of every decision we make.
Like a jewel thief who moonlights selling security cameras, United has found a way to profit even more off of the havoc that they wreak. If their practices bankrupt your doctor's offices, they can give them a loan or acquire them for dirt cheap. Then, if your medical provider disagrees with United's unwillingness to pay for a CT scan, they'll have to keep in mind that the people they're arguing with are their employer, their owner. If you can't afford your deductible, they can offer you a loan. When you're looking up information about medical procedures, the article might be written by someone on the United Health payroll, who now has an incentive to push treatment good for United's bottom line. And for Whitty, United is just getting started. Quote, despite our size, we're just scratching the surface of the opportunity, he told a group of investors. If 40 years of consolidation has taught us anything about health insurance, it's that big is usually bad. While companies like United will always frame their growth as a way to help you, their relentless rationing of healthcare shows it's anything but. They've done it with automated denials, and they'll continue to find innovative ways to protect their bottom line as they acquire more and more healthcare businesses. So what can be done about
Like everybody, I don't know. Everybody, you have to ration healthcare somehow. You do. There's no way around that, but whatever.
Vertical integration has been a very convenient way to escape antitrust measures for insurers like United, because regulators are accustomed to only scrutinizing acquisitions that remove their competition in the same space, in this case, insurance. United isn't
Apparently the other guy in the video is just a video essay guy. Gotcha.
even the only problem. Their vertical integration strategy is spreading across the industry. It isn't too late for antitrust regulators to start scrutinizing when companies like CVS or United Healthcare are buying up anything and everything. So, how have the healthcare monopolies affected you? Share your insurance stories in the comments and one might make it into our next video. So don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wow. What is this? If you see this, I'm already under arrest from the Luigi guy. Is this going to be retarded or definitely real and not fake? Is there a way to see like when a channel was made? Join January 20th, 2024. Pep Manguil, whatever, I don't know. Can you change this? It's a fake account. LOL 2 hours ago. This is a crypto launch announcement. I'm going to lose my mind. Yeah, because you can like change names or whatever on an account and make it seem like it's somebody else. I feel like if this was real, more people on the internet would be talking about it, but okay, don't care. Okay. U.S. health insurance claim denial rates from CMS.gov. Claim denial. Okay. All data from CMS.gov, transparency and coverage. Okay, all data from CMS.gov, transparency in coverage. Wait, where am I missing something? Transparency in coverage. Oh, I don't know what an XLSX. That sounds like some shit I have to open on Google Drive. A spreadsheet. Oh, yeah. Is there like an easy way that somebody can throw the spreadsheet on a Google Drive that I can click, or on a Google spreadsheet thing that I can click? Hold on. All issuer and plan level claims data is self-reported by QHP issuers to CMS. This is the issuer claims denied out of network, issuer claims denied in network. This is every single claim submitted.